Big up Spurs fans near and far. Back with your boy Deji Spurs and my homeboy Asthmatic in the building from Spurs King TV. Today we're going to be giving you, it's the day after tomorrow, innit, kind of effect. The day after the Liverpool game, the whatever we want to call of it, the disaster, blah. There's a lot of things to get into, but today's show is going to be a player rating. But before we get into today's show, we got an announcement to make. Obviously, Asthmatic's is growing and doing big things in this space, and things have been getting kind of mad since people started shaking their bums. So we've decided, along with Spurs King TV, that we're going to be collabing. So it's official. I am joining the team at Spurs King TV, and I am delighted because I need to be protected by my people. Too many rivals, too many people are trying to chop me up. And so now I'm with the people at Spurs King TV. Asthmatic, thank you, bro, for the opportunity. You and Marlon, big up to you guys. Thank you. It's a pleasure. How have you been?
I've been better, to be fair, you know. It's been rough. Sleep, I can see like there's probably still sleep in my eyes from that disaster, as you said already, last night or yesterday afternoon. Yeah, man, you know what? I'm gonna flip it. Because right now we need a bit of kumbaya. I think I'm here to kind of bring some balance, some energy, some positive vibes, man. It's bank holiday. I don't want it to be completely ruined. Yes, we were poor. Yes, we got slapped 4-2. But I always thought this period will show us where we're at. Do you know what I'm saying? Against the big boys. And sometimes you need to see where the weaknesses are. You need to see the deficiencies. We already knew who was stinking up the gaff. We already knew who the full boys were. And so now it's very clear. And now the board have nowhere to turn, nowhere to look. They know exactly what is needed. And just called it out many a time. He said, look, I'm not going to change this style because I need the players to fit this particular style of football. And so if I don't get this is going to continue to happen, especially if my ambition is to challenge. And if people are to take me seriously, then we need to get a couple slaps from the big boys. Do you know what I'm saying? Right now, we're looking kind of meaty. You know what I'm saying? We're looking kind of average. So in my eyes, it was a poison needed. We haven't got the remedy right now. Yeah. And big up to everyone in the chat. There's my manners, man. Hold tight, all the man them in the chat, all the girls watching as well. Big yourselves up, man. Family members, we're there. We see you, man. You know, we're all one big Spurs family at the moment. Hurting right now, hurting. And I'm just trying to put some perspective on it. And I feel like for me, just going into the game real quick, I won't take up too much time because we are going to do player ratings today. I honestly thought that the fullbacks were a big issue. I know a lot of people have spoken about the actual front line and the midfield as well. The midfield aren't no good, especially when we lose the ball defending wise. I think the problem is sometimes in the build up, we lose control of the actual game, and that creates turnovers and that creates chances for the opposition. We lose momentum. We give the other team momentum. And then it was just a matter of time because they were having chance after chance after chance. And so I don't want to scapegoat individuals for the loss because it was a team effort. And I did mention the midfield and the front. The problem is when you're up front and you're not putting away chances or you're not creating enough and then you lose it, that's the problem because then you keep inviting on pressure, and you give the other team confidence. And that's how I saw not just the Liverpool game, Chelsea game as well, man. And I think that's where we are losing games at the moment. We just don't have enough quality in those final third moments. We can have a lot of the possession, a lot of the ball, but when it comes down to being clinical, and at this level, at this stage, you need to be clinical. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To be fair, it could have been a lot worse. That's how I'm going to say it. We could have been an absolute whooping. You know what I'm saying? But we did what we did, and we managed to have a little fight back. Which I do commend, but yeah, it could have been worse at the same time. So
it could have been. Yeah, no, real talk. And before we get into the player ratings, just my 2 cents on it as well. You know, I had a lot of people on other channels, never a foul, and you know, I jumped on the big six bants. I agree with you. I think it was deliberate from Postecoglou. Because when you see this guy talk and the way he speaks, he's so articulate. He is showing the board that we need money and we need to spend. Yeah. So that's the positive I'm taking from it. And the reason why is if he was to imagine if he was to continue doing good, bro, and actually have us challenging, or as we were at the beginning of the season, with what people have been saying to me and other channels, people in the comment, Daniel Levy won't spend. The only reason why he started spending was when Mourinho said, "See, look at the rubbish that I got," and then Conte went, "See, look at the rubbish that I got." And so Postecoglou is doing the same thing. See, look at the rubbish that I got. If you want me to play my style of play, I've shown you that my style of play can work. I've shown you that we can score goals. I showed you there was life without Kane. I've showed you what I can do with some of your fringe players. Now I need the final pieces to the jigsaw puzzle to get this thing right. And if you back me, I said, if we don't, then it's long. And I hoping that is the case. People are shaking their bum like we're all in the same level. Klopp's been in charge of Liverpool 9 seasons, Pep 9 to 10 seasons, Arteta 5, and then our gaffer's been in there 5 minutes. And then people want to shake our bum and feel like well, it's all equal. It ain't all equal, mate. In Klopp's first season, I remember watching that game when we slapped up Liverpool 4-1. Yes, and everybody thought, well, it's a disaster. He don't know what he's doing. And then look, see, from then onwards, he's become a Liverpool legend. Arteta, in the first 3 seasons, people were shaking their bums, getting irate. And then look, he's going to be, whether we like it or not, he will be an Arsenal legend based on these performances, based on Arsenal and their finishes. At least he's done well. He's brought them back and put them back on the map. That's why we're seeing all these Arsenal cronies in the chat getting excited. So I think Tottenham's got a similar trajectory. This season's a washout. Don't worry about it. Finish where we finish. Like we said at the beginning of the season, it didn't matter because he was an unknown. And then from season 2, season 3, let's see if we're able to push on. But big up to everyone that's locked in right now. We're going to get into it, though. For me, we are breaking down the players. So we're going to go with Vicario first and foremost. Bro, what are you making of Vicario at the moment? Before we even show anything, I just think I had Vicario at 6 out of 10 for his performance yesterday. Bro, I'll be real. With Vicario, I had him that I was worried about him before he kicked the ball. Because I saw him pre-season and I knew that there was something shaky about this guy. And then he kind of started the season really well. And I thought, okay, now maybe we've got a world-class keeper. In recent game, bro, Vicario's been looking suspicious. I've given him a 6 out of 10 because he did make a couple of saves in that game to kind of keep us in. If not, Liverpool could have scored 6-7 goals. But, bro, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Some of the goals that we conceded is rubbish. That Salah header was as soft as a baby's bottom. How he's not able to push that ball out, I don't know. The initial save for the second goal, I think any half-decent keeper who's worth their weight in goal, they knock that out, bro. That goes to the side. Maybe they talk about keepers. Never push the ball in front of you. Always push the ball to the side. What did he do? He pushed it in front of him. And then, Liverpool fans are shaking their bum. But let's be real. That gap pole header was soft. I mean, he's so far out. There's plenty of time. He's tall enough to leap and head that ball. So for me, I've given him a 6. I think it was maybe a 6 is a bit generous, to be honest. But what are you rating Vicario on his performance yesterday?
I agree, man. I think 6. I just think he was better on the set pieces. I think that was addressed. He was a lot stronger. He did catch a few of the balls when it was crossed in. And set pieces have been a massive issue for us this last few games, especially. Like it's been highlighted ever since the Everton game. I think when they started backing up, they started twerking on him. He started crying, and then Man City clocked on, and then obviously we lost the FA Cup game to them, and then after that, everyone started jumping on it. You know what I'm saying? Apache, but pause. But yeah, man, for me, I agree, man. I felt like when Salah scored that header, I think he thought it was going to the other post, so that's why he changed his shape and he kind of jumped backwards instead of just standing up on his post. And that's when he let that go in an near post. I never like to see my keeper beaten on a near post.
Come on.
And so when he scored that, I was like, really? Like, I was what? Really? Because at first I thought he headed wide. Like, and it also happened in slow motion. All their goals for me happened in slow motion. I don't know how you felt. I'm looking at it like, was that it? You know what I mean?
How did that go in? How did you not push it? No, go on.
Like, that's how I felt. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. And then the next goal, like you said, I thought this, but I'm listening to the Sky Sports main event commentary, innit? And I'm thinking, rah, boom. You know, they said, rah, he was at full stretch already, and he did a good save, blah, blah, blah. But when I saw it, I said exactly what you said. I said, rah, push it out, my brother. Why are you just so tame and that? Like, you just, I don't know. For me, I thought he should have pushed it out, bro. I agree. But yeah, I see what they were saying. He's already full stretched. And yeah, he did well to get a hand to it and keep it there. And then that's when they scored the goal. But again, I just thought if he positioned himself a little bit better, maybe 2 steps to the right, he's saving that and he's knocking it out, man. Now, let me know if I'm too harsh, people.
I
yeah, the other goal, the third goal, like you said, like by Gakpo, again, like the amount of time he's got on the air, surely you can read where he's going to head of it. No?
You know what I'm saying?
Attempt to save it, he looked very like lethargic, like, nah, you know what? It's in already, you know what I mean? I see him kind of collapsing before it even kind of went in the net. And I was like, bro, you didn't even, you know, like you want your keeper to do like old school Italian 90 when they stretch out like that. That's what I was expecting, but I didn't see that. And he went to the back of the net. And I was like, again, another slow-mo goal. Obviously, Harvey Elliott, wow, that's a worldie, isn't it? What can you do?
You can't talk about that. And I won't talk about that.
Like,
most people
don't say that. What he did okay, I thought, playing out from the back, sometimes he's a bit slow to do that. And he did put us under pressure a couple of times, but I felt he was a little bit better than previous games. So I'm not going to go too harsh. So I reckon a 6, justifiable. He wasn't awful, but there was things I thought he could have done better, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, he did make a couple of saves in that first half, weirdly enough. But, yeah, I just think the basics are so important. Big up to Kava in the chat with the super chat. Big up to you. It's exactly what he did at Celtic. He calls the balls bluff, spot on. He wants competition for every position. One love from Fiji. Yeah, big up to you, Kava. That's exactly what I think Postecoglou is doing. That's what we think. We think, look, he needs the competition. He needs to show Levy that if you do this, the Tottenham fan base. And one thing I've realized about Levy, he don't like the smoke, you know. When the fan base gives him smoke, he does not like it. So I think that's the right thing. Sometimes you got to play them at their game. You got to act dumb, but really you know what you're doing. And you can't really let Levy know what you're doing. So you got to do it by stealth. And I think Postecoglou is doing that. Look, let's move on. Let's deal with the biggest culprit. Should we deal with Porro or Emerson Royal? Which one do you want to deal with first?
Let's do Porro.
Let's do Porro. Bro, I just think Pedro Porro, for me, I think I would have given him a 5 out of 10 for that performance yesterday. Didn't go forward in attack. I don't remember him really going forward. You know, one of the things I used to say about Porro is even if defensively he's not up there with the likes of Ben White or some of the other right backs in the league, going forward, he does give us something. But in the last few games, but in particular yesterday, I don't remember Porro getting a single cross on goal. I don't remember him getting into the edge of the box and swinging the ball in. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, Pedro Porro, I'm giving a kind of like a 5. The other thing is defensively, were there mistakes? I think he could have probably done more for the opening goal. Maybe stop the cross coming in. You know, positionally, I don't understand in Premier League football how we're going to watch players swing the ball in. You know exactly what's going to happen. Your job is to get there and stop them from bringing it in. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I don't know. 5 out of 10, in my opinion.
Again, I said at the start of the video, I said, Rob, when it comes to Porro, he's not being good in our transition, as in terms of trying to get out the first half. When we're trying to get out the half and we're trying to beat Liverpool's press, you need to get a foot on the ball, and then you can't get rattled every time you get pressed. You need to just play a simple pass. I think sometimes we take too many touches and that gives us the wrong decision, or what happens is that pass is cut out because people can read it. You know, we're too predictable. And I felt like Porro at times when he was pressed, that's where we lost the ball, you know, and I think they purposely targeted both fullbacks, but like, yeah, he got targeted and they saw what Chelsea did to us in those channels and they were like, yeah, we're going to do the same thing. And I remember being in a WhatsApp group and everyone's like, Tottenham, why do they keep trying to play out from the back? You can't do that against these elite teams. You're going to cause yourself trouble. And that's what I was saying. Like, when you're trying to play out from the back, we need to learn how to do it, by the way. And Porro has been good this season.
We were all right, though. Sorry,
yeah, this season,
right. And then what do you think happened, though? Is it a lack of confidence then? Because he was doing it well. So a lot of these things that we're talking about, they were doing this at the beginning of the season. Decision making. Sometimes you can take a touch and then play it out from the back. But sometimes you need to play it first time. So when the ball comes into you first time, know what you want to do. Take a couple steps back, create space for yourself, receive it on a half turn. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes carry it out. Not always pass, because sometimes you can't pass it out. Sometimes you need to carry it out yourself. And it's about being brave. Sometimes we're not brave enough. And as a result, we end up making the wrong decision and we end up losing possession. That turnover turns into a chance. And then we're on the back foot. And then that's when the nerves start to step in. Everyone's like, oh, the players ain't playing for the manager. No. What it is we're spending too much time on the ball and we're not moving it. You see Liverpool like one touch, two touch out the back. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Certain times their centre-backs will be being brave and they're just carrying it out of the press, literally just driving up the pitch, running through forward. And so that alleviates pressure as well. And then movement off the ball, like they've got it down to a T. But I can understand these players haven't, you know, they need to understand what to do, when to take that touch, when not to take that touch, etc., etc. And like, as you said, going forward, we didn't see too much from Porro, in my opinion, going forward. So, and that's a big part of his game. However, I do like the balls he was playing into Richarlison. There was a ball over the top, I remember. And I think a better striker creates a chance there because Richarlison brings the ball down, credit to him. But then after that, he lets the defender get across him and then it comes to nothing. So most people won't even remember that part of the game. But like those chances there, I'm like, bro, you need to at least test the keeper. You're 1v1. All you need to do is hold your defender off, use a bit of your strength. And then, so Porro was doing that. Balls over the top, which is a play. But yeah, in terms of crossing, where you want him in the final third, that's where I know most fans, will look at him and think, right, you're not doing your job in terms of crossing the ball. But yeah, I think he did a few blocks. So defending wise, he did a few blocks. There was a clearance he did as well in the game, I remember. But yeah, I'm not mad at the 5. I think everyone could get a 5 in this game. I'll be real to you because that performance was smelly. It was smelly. And, you know, a lot of people in the chat commenting about some of the scoreline. Look, I can see the overall. I hear what everyone's saying, but you got to look at the game as a whole contextually. Do you know what I mean? If Vicario, for example, hadn't made certain saves, it could have been worse and it would have deserved worse. He did make some saves. He did keep Tottenham in it. He did keep it semi-respectable. But at the same time, he was poor. So that's why we have to give... We're giving certain scorelines and we could be harsh, but I agree with you. Porro 5. I didn't see much. I agree. Reacting under pressure didn't give much going forward and defense. Yeah, look, I agree. So 5 and maybe 5 might even be a little bit generous. The most generous one though is the one for our good friend Emerson Royal, who after that performance yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I want to see him again. From your perspective, Ash, what would you give him?
Emerson Royal? He's just not a Premier League footballer, is he? No, I'm being ultra harsh. No, you know what? He's not for us. I'll just say he's not for us. I'll say that.
Before you give your rating, though, can I just ask this? Do you think he's a decent squad player. Because I'm also thinking back when we had the injuries, he was playing out of position at centre back, all of these places. And he did do a job. I mean, he did play centre back with Ben Davies, and we got a 3-3 at the Etihad. I mean, are we over harsh on Royal? I hear what you're saying, but do you know what I mean? Do you think like the fan base?
You're saying, because he's a right back playing at left back. So basically, every time he's got the ball, it's on his right foot instead of his left foot. So the pass down the line to his like left winger, like say Sonny, or if it was Johnson, if they want to come short receive, it's easier pass there. So I mean, there's times when he's in the because I think this is a bit of Postecoglou now.
Yeah,
I personally would have played, if you're going to play Emerson, play him in the defensive third in terms of our build up. Maybe let him sit, you know, just to protect, to make a back three, or if it's not a back three, let him just sit in the middle. Doing short passes, just those little tiny short passes. He's not bad at that. And let him sit alongside a Basuma. So it just gives us a bit of protection. So we've got in possession, when we're on the ball, we've got two centre backs there, and then you've got maybe a Emerson Royal and a Basuma just sitting, just in case anything goes wrong. And then they can mop up either left or right if it goes down to the channels. They're like the first point of contact. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, Postecoglou, can you tweak in that element, in that sense, if you don't want to change the formation? Because higher up, I needed Emerson Royal to do underlapping runs, even if he didn't get the ball and contribute in that final third. At least if he does an underlapping run into the box, that might take one of their players away, and that might create a 1v1 for like a Son or a Johnson, or it might give Son space because Son's in between two centre backs. Maybe that helps the centre backs to, you know, open up a little bit, just a couple spaces. So then Son's got more of a chance to get a first touch, you know, get out of his feet and then create a chance for himself. But that wasn't really happening. But Emerson Royal, let's talk about the main points. So for me, I'll give him, let's say, a 3. I don't know if that's too high. People could disagree with me, you know, but I'll give him a 3. Only because as a fullback, you need to check your shoulders regularly, you know? You need to see where, especially like Salah. Salah's like the most dangerous winger in the generation of the Premier League. Like, I think he's going to go down as a Liverpool legend, in my opinion. I think he's one of the top players. I mean, how many players have you seen with more than 10 goals and 10 assists every season? You know what I mean? I think he's one of the first players to do it. And this has been a poor season for him, yet he's got, what, 17 to 19 goals in the league, and he's got 10 assists, roughly. Like, so when you look at those stats, and I hate to be a stat merchant, you know what I mean? Because football's more than that. You know, we watch what's going on the pitch. But for someone that's not been playing well and still producing that, we need some of that. We need our players to be poor and give that type of return. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So me looking at putting Emerson Royal there, he may be like, the excuse could be like, because he's on the left, he's not used to looking over that shoulder, bro. Nah, maybe not. Let's take that back. He's just not good. He's just not good. He looked once, and then Salah just kept running. He changed the pace, left him for look. Didn't look. And then bang, obviously he gets that header in, and then like Vicario should do better, as we said already. But then the second goal now, like, you know, he's like, I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson. Closes down Salah, yeah. You're like, yes. Yeah. But then what he does again, and I blame Porro for this, spending too long on the ball, not knowing what you want to do with the ball next. Doesn't see Elliot, right? Doesn't see Elliot. And then that's because he's held on for too long, he's lost it. And the funny thing is, he actually did that before, but we didn't get punished. He does that. Sometimes he gets the ball, he holds on to it before releasing it. He doesn't do that the first time pass and get it out of his feet and then pass and move. He hasn't really gotten that in his locker. He likes to take a touch first, then pass. And it needs to be a short pass. He hasn't got a range of passing in his locker. So when I saw that happen, I was just like, yeah, typical, innit? Like, boom. He's got robbed. You get me? Like, it's his first day back at school for his lunch money. And before you know it, cross, boom, header, bang. 2 goals because of him. You know what I mean? And that's unacceptable. At this level, you get punished by the top teams. Do you know what I'm saying? And I said, as I said before, we need to know what the levels are of this squad. You know what I'm saying? And when we bring players into the fullback area, even when your doggy comes back, because your doggy's made a lot of mistakes in that particular area. So I'm not just going to sit here and throw Emerson Royal under the bus. The doggy, as much as I love him, and he's great at carrying the ball, he has had a few errors. If you look at how many errors he's made this season, and I know he's young, he's going to make those mistakes. All I'm saying is I want a player to come in and challenge your doggy for a spot, as good as your doggy is, and challenge Porro for a spot.
100%.
I want those players next season thinking, "Raw, how can I get back into the team?" And people will throw pelters at me and say, "No, how can you say that about your doggy? He's one of our own. He's great. He's dope. He's this and that." Bro, I love your doggy when he's carrying the ball, he's dribbling, he's beating the players, physicality, his recovery runs as well. And I like how he grows into the games. He doesn't get rattled too easily. He might make mistakes, but he still plays his game. I love that about him. But let's call a spade, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that. We're talking about Emerson Royal here anyway. And I just thought that he should have been taken off a lot sooner. And I'll blame Ange for that as well again, because when Oliver Skip came on in that position, he showed the levels. You know what I'm saying? He just did the basics.
That's the basics, man.
The basics, bro. And he just showed the levels.
Come on.
He's a midfielder. He's a midfielder.
Bro. The only thing, I feel like I agree with you. I mean, I kind of gave him a 3 out of 10, and the only reason why I gave him a 3 is the fact that he is playing out of position. And if anyone's played football, you know that just switching sides is not that easy. Do you know what I'm saying? It can take some adjustment. But I feel like with Emerson Royal, he's an old school right back. I don't want to go forward. I want the left winger to take me on, and I knock it out for a throw or a corner. That's it. And then I just hoof the ball up top. He would have been good in the early days. Do you know, that? You know, like under Harry Redknapp. Proper back four. All this inverted. And I think the reason also why I gave him a 3 is because if I was Postecoglou, I would have kept it simple. You already know he's out of position. All I would do is say, man mark Salah. Wherever he goes, you go. Yeah? Don't worry. But what Postecoglou done, which is why I feel like even when we're rating them, let's also rate them with Postecoglou in mind on how he set the team up. How can you ask Emerson Royal, and we talked about it on We Are Tottenham TV in the pre-match pump, how can you ask him to invert? How? He's never done. He doesn't play that. So you've got acres of
play. How?
That and the fact that Brennan Johnson, you know that Salah is one of the most, if not the dangerous right winger in the league. So he needs help. He needs Cooley coming back. Because Brendan Johnson ain't going to come back to help you, which means you're going to be left alone. I mean, come on. I mean, it was disastrous. But I will say this, though. Basic things. They teach the kids in the academy scanning. He sees Salah once, and then he doesn't look back again. He doesn't look back at all. And then he gets that idiot header. And then for me, it's unforgivable. Clear that ball. What's he doing holding his hand out and jockeying the ball like he's some sort of horse rider, and then Harvey Elliott steals the ball. Just dumb. These are avoidable mistakes if you have half a brain when it comes to defending. And I have to say that Emerson Royal, he let himself down yesterday. I never want to see him again. That's why I gave him a 3. I gave him a 3 because it was rough for everyone. Everybody was pretty off in that first half. And then you've asked him to play on the opposite side. But maybe even 3 might even be too high, because thinking about it, I don't know one positive thing that he did.
He hasn't got anything else in his locker. That's why the inversion role kills him, because he hasn't got ability to kind of carry the ball. He hasn't got the ability to find players with a switch. At least Porro, he can play a ball over the top. He can switch to play. He can do a through ball. He can cross. He can dribble. He's got a bit of techers. He can go on a half turn. Emerson can't do any of those things. You see what I'm saying?
Emerson gets a 1. I give Emerson a 1. He's getting a 1. I agree with Cash. I agree with Cash. Cash is right. Nah, he gets a 1. When you think about, because you know why though, bro? Yeah. These are supposedly professional footballers. He did not do the basic. Basic is to defend. That's the basic rule if you're in that back line.
That's what he's meant to be known for.
That's what he's supposed to be on. He didn't,
Yeah.
but I also blame Postecoglou because he had
100%.
him doing the madness that he couldn't
100%.
keep up.
Remember when the team sheet came out? We're like, we're gonna get battered.
We knew it, and that's the killer. We, the fans, see the team lined up before the game, and we already know what's coming, and then it happens. Do you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, but if we could see it, how comes Postecoglou ain't seeing it unless it's deliberate? Let's move into the centre-back pairing. I think let's start off with Van de Ven before we deal with Romero. What are you saying about Van de Ven's performance yesterday, bro?
Does what he does every time, man. He does what he does every time, and he sweeps and cleans up. But to be fair, I'll give him a bit more than that because I felt defensively, I felt like when he needed to actually defend, because a lot of people don't give him that credit in terms of what he does for defending wise, like going to ground, people don't really rate that, but he actually does win his duels. He does actually tackle well, I feel. But again, I just felt it just needed a little bit more, in my opinion. You're in that back line, 4 goals. No one can get a decent rating if you're a part of it. Do you know what I'm saying? If you're part of a four goal slapping, like I can't really rate you on that level. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't think he did much wrong. But again, in that back line, they all need to take some L's, man. Do you know what I'm saying? They all need to take L's. I can't remember too much of what he did, but I do remember his recovery runs, and us keeping that formidable high line. That's how we play. We try to catch teams offside. I think that's what the goal is. Doesn't always work out, and a few times we got caught out. I think Darwin Núñez should have scored. I mean, decision making up for Liverpool was poor in the final third as well at times. I think if Darwin Núñez is smart, he beats Vicario, goes around him. But obviously, Vicario comes out and he uses his feet and he blocks and he makes a save, innit? So
yeah. Núñez is
Vicario for that. But again, Vicky Van de Ven, I don't know. He was a part of that high line that allowed him to get in, to allow Núñez to get in on that bit.
But we will say, is that Van de Ven's fault or is that tactical? Do you get me? So when we're rating these players, we have to bear in mind that also, how did Postecoglou set them out? I agree. I don't think Van de Ven did anything special yesterday. He was just his usual self. I actually had him down as a 6 out of 10. I wanted more from him. Was Van de Ven commanding? He wasn't commanding. You know, there's some games he's imperious. You know, he's winning the ball. Even if the back line is fully dusty, at least Van de Ven is doing his bit to kind of show his level. But I thought, for me, this was one of his poorer games in a way. It weren't great. He didn't really do anything special. And for me, I was a little bit disappointed with him at half time because we're 2-0 down. And the only person who seemed bothered about the scoreline was Romero. And I'm seeing Van de Ven trying to hug Romero and console him. And I'm thinking, you should be pissed off as well. You're in that back line with him.
Hey, you see
know
that?
What I'm saying? What are you hugging him for?
Him and Emerson were beefing. You see that? And Vicario
that's what I want to see.
Bro, why are you so dusty for, man? Come out.
Do you know what I'm saying? Get him off the pitch.
And was like, what are you talking to? And then Ben was stuck it up. I said, get in there, have it out, man. Because bro, levels ain't leveling up at the moment.
So Van de Ven for me didn't do much. I would probably give him 5, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Special.
Mickey, with his ability, I want to see him driving up the field with the ball. Like, I know it's risky, but I think he can do it. I think he can pick the ball, say, "Hey, Vicario, give me the ball," and just literally carry that ball, be aggressive. And the reason why I say that, because obviously I saw Liverpool centre back do it, but then I've seen other teams, like when I'm watching European football, I've seen Bastoni do it for Inter Milan. For Dortmund, they got a player called Schotterblock. He does it. He gets the ball. He just drives and carries it. There's a player that we're linked with actually called Calafori. I did a scout report on him on my last show, and basically he does it. Like, they pick it up deep and he just drive and carry it. And he's got the ability to do that. He's got the ability to get on a half turn if he wants to, or just get the ball and just drive up the field and just show that bravery, that commanding. And once a player does that, that pushes the whole team up the pitch, and then you're on the front foot all of a sudden. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to see that from him a little bit more when he's on the ball, just to up the levels. I know it's a lot. It's his first season, and I'm being ultra critical, by the way, on Van der Ven, because he didn't have a bad game. So I'm just looking at small things that I can kind of remember, because I only watched the game back once, so I'm being quite reactive here in terms of the player ratings.
That's calm.
I ain't got a memory.
So are we gonna give him, what are we giving him, a 6? We've got a 6.
I'll give him a 6.
We'll give him a 6. All
People
right,
could disagree, but I'll give him a 6.
Okay, fair play. I think so. Quickly, Romero, and let's get through this. Big up to everyone that's locked in right now. Thank you. Like and subscribe on our channel, Spurs King TV. Guys, Romero, quickly, let's just try and chug through this a bit quicker. I thought Romero did his best, man. I loved his attitude. You know, one thing you can't fault Romero for is his attitude. And for me, I can see that, you know, he wants to win. And I love the fact that he was telling Emerson Royal off. It wasn't a great first half, but I can't say any of the errors really came from Romero. For Gakpo's goal, that wasn't him. Or, you know what I mean? He's been allowed to cut in from Emerson Royal, bloody hell. You know, again, the goals, chipping in. Romero couldn't be at fault. I think he did a good marshalling job on Gakpo. Was pretty quiet the whole bloody game until he got that header. I mean, there were Liverpool fans shaking their bum. He didn't really do much, in my opinion, in that first half until he got the goal. Yeah, he was trying to link up play, but I think Romero had him on lock. So I'm going to give Romero a 7, because had he not been there and been his usual self, it could have been worse, because at times we were just getting opened up completely, and Romero was in that little back line just to kind of clear the ball out the way. But I don't know, Ash, are you in agreement? Are we giving him a 7? The only maybe positive performance, positive player on the day? Sorry, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're muted. Sorry, you've gone. Where have you gone?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even put myself on mute. I'm going to say 6, only because there was a time where he kind of switched off playing out the back, and he almost gifted Liverpool a goal. I don't know if you remember that. He literally passed back, but then he had to make up for it real quick. And but out of the 2 centre-backs, I agree, he was the better of the 2 centre-backs. So 7, I can understand. I felt in possession as well. I think he did another ball over the top to Richarlison, I think it was, because there was a couple of times Richarlison he was in. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, he did like a ball over the top to Richie, I think it was. And yeah, his forward passes from deep, when he's on, like, he passes on the floor, he passes with such precision that he finds a lot of our players in advanced positions. I think aerially as well, he was good. He was winning headers, tackling, blocks, a lot of blocks from Romero, a lot of blocks. I agree. He saved us a lot of times from embarrassment. And like, I heard Neville, like, he was trying to critique him, and I was like, saying, oh, you know, a better defender, won't be moving around as much. I was like, shut up, man. You know, what are you talking about? Rubbish. If he wasn't there making like certain movement, he wouldn't have been there to like clear the ball off the line and get.
Do you know what I mean?
Vicario didn't save it. You know what I'm saying? Saving us from even a heavier defeat. So yeah, I mean, I'm reading the stats here. It says 5 clearances, bro. Yeah, and 1 off the line. So honestly, 1 interception. So like that to me, yeah. I'm not mad. He was the best centre back for me. One of the best players on the pitch.
He was, man. Yeah. He was. I mean, it's weird to give someone a 7 when you get slapped with 4 goals.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't really. That's why I was like.
But at the same time, you got to acknowledge, what did they do individually in the game? And had he not been there, it easily could have been 7, 8 goals for Liverpool.
And that'd be Emerson Royal at centre back.
Well, we saw what Emerson Royal did. Absolutely nothing. And he killed us for 2 of the goals. So, yeah, no, definitely Romero gets a 7. Let's quickly move into the midfield. For the first 5 minutes, I thought, okay, this midfield trio could work. But that was only for 5 minutes. Let's touch on Bissouma. Bissouma, what are you giving Bissouma real quick? Everyone in the chat, big up to you. Please also let us know yours. I can see some people, Neil and Cash, they're giving us their predictions as well in the chat. I can see it. Please throw it in there if you agree with us. There's been a lot of disagreement. A lot of people in the chat would have given lower scores. I'm seeing 0 for Emerson Royal, where we're giving like a 1 or a 3. Someone put 4 for Van der Ven, and I think that's a little bit harsh. I know the back line was not great, but I think Van der Ven was a little bit better than a 4. And I hear what you're saying. 4 goals is a disgrace, but let's just take them as individuals. But Bissouma,
I give him, and this is controversial, but I give him a 5. And lots of people be like, how? Because he's lethargic, looks disinterested, and he's running off the ball, defending. So a lot of people are judging Bissouma on his defensive attributes, and rightly so. Like, you need to give protection to the back line, as everyone calls him, the DM. And I just don't think, and this goes down to the manager again. I honestly don't think we play with a holding midfielder. I don't think we play with a defensive midfielder, even though Bissouma is the furthest back. I feel like we play with box-to-box midfielders, and I feel like between him and Sarr, watching them, they were kind of like, sometimes I saw Sarr on the left, sometimes I saw Sarr on the right, sometimes I saw Bissouma in the middle, sometimes I saw him on the right, and sometimes I saw him a little bit further up in this game. I felt at times, again, he was involved in the goal. So the goal we got, in the first goal he actually created, he actually did a key pass. He passed it forward into Johnson, and then Johnson sprayed the ball across into Richarlison, and then Richarlison finished it off. But before he did that, he actually, on the ball in the first half, I saw him passing forward. So there was times he had the ball and he could have done an easy one, do a short pass, or just done like, just hidden away. But what he did is he delayed it. And unlike Emerson Royal, he actually found his man, or sometimes he would carry the ball to try and take the ball higher up the pitch. There were times when he switched the play. I was watching him properly because I look, especially him. I'm like, I need him to turn up. So I properly watched Bissouma, and he did balls. Like, he gets criticized for not doing the balls over the top, the switches of play. And he did that. He did long balls. He did switches of play. He carried the ball. I saw him doing little jinks as well. So he's looking a little bit like his older self when he was trying to shift the ball, trying to drop shoulders, make things happen. Sometimes he'll get the ball and then turn on himself, a bit like an old school Scott Parker, but obviously a little bit more sourced than him. But that's why I gave him and 5 out of 10 is still poor. That's what I'm like. People are thinking 5 out of 10. Right, you're giving him a high score, like dross. Do you know what I'm saying? For me, I gave him a 5. Because he got that key pass in. Without that key pass, he drops down to a 4. Without some of those forward passes he did in the first half, and the thing is, he did a forward pass, and I think he was into Kulu, and Kulu, turn and shoot now. Kulu did dallying on it, and then loses it, and then people won't remember that moment because Kulu did nothing with it, and so then everyone, Bissouma, he's rubbish, blah blah blah. Had Kulu done something with that ball when he stings it into him, into that kind of congested area? Because I think people forgetting what Liverpool did, and this is down to Ange again. We like to play super central. Why? We try to like overload the middle of the pitch. So we've got the 3 midfielders and we've got the 2 fullbacks inverted. So then now we've got an overload of like 6, 7 players. Do you know what I'm saying? Because even sometimes one of our wingers invert and they kind of go in that area, and then Son drops in that hole, blah, blah, blah. So for me, when you've got that area congested with Liverpool players, because that's what Liverpool did, they played super narrow. So the only way you can play through that narrow press, that's what they're doing, they're pressing us under pressure, is to fire balls through the middle with like conviction, pass with like real conviction. And I thought he was passing not soft, he was passing hard into the feet of the players. And I thought that's what he did well. But again, I agree. Like, I understand why people are super mad at Bissouma jogging back. It doesn't look good when he jogs. Like, it doesn't look good when he jogs. Like, you know what I'm saying? If some players don't, like, they should have a word with him, bro. Don't jog, because it looks like you don't care. It's like, I saw an interview. Sorry to cut you. One last thing. There was one interview with Les Ferdinand, and he talks about Harry Kane. He said when he was coaching him, Kane used to run with his mouth open like this. You know what I mean? And he used to jog back and have his mouth open, right? And Les Ferdinand said, brother, don't ever jog back, because it looks bad. I know you're running back to get in position, And you don't always in football, you don't always need to sprint back. You just need to like get back in line and get back into position. But the fact that you jog, your gait looks awful when you jog. It looks like you're lethargic and you don't really run with your arms. Like, you know, when Sarr sprints, it looks like Sarr's running everywhere.
Exactly. It looks like he's
energy. But when Bissouma runs, it looks like Ndombele. It looks lazy, isn't it? So
it does. It really does.
That's the way I see it, innit? People call me deluded, whatever, and say, "Oh, you're back at Bissouma, blah blah blah." I'm just saying what I see in people, but I gave him a 5, borderline 4, bro, because he could do that, and we know his ability. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think, but it also shows how poor Bissouma must have been. That we're picking on little things and we're giving him a 5. Do you get what I'm saying? Because a 5 by his standards is poor. I thought he did a couple of jinks in there. You know, he gave us a couple of swivels, like you said, which was okay. We haven't seen that swivel in a while. You could have
that's what I thought, bro.
In that moment there, but you didn't. All right, cool. The thing that I actually liked was, although you know, I was saying it on the stream, how these men, what do they train? What do they work on? Because at least he took a shot. Do you know what I mean? You know, in the first couple of minutes, he took that wild shot into Rose Ed. But I was like, okay, shot. At least we got to the byline and the shot was.
And he's doing something. Like you're like me, end product. Me, have a go. Have a go, mate. If you don't have a go, like that's why I get mad on Kulu, because Kulu's not having a go. Some of these players aren't having a go. So then what are we doing then? When we're not taking gambles, we're not risking it, we're not being brave, we're not chancing it. Because like at the end of the day, another day you could take I can have a go, it could deflect. Do you know what I'm saying? It could land into one of our players. You could create a corner. Off the corner, we could score. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So for me, I'm not mad if we call our DM is having a go. Do you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I don't call him a DM as well, and I've said this before, I look at Rice, everyone's like, Rice is a DM, he's a proper DM. He's not. He's box to box to me. Rice is box to box. I look at Rodri. I had this argument on my show with Marlon. I said, Rodri is not a 6. He's a box to box. And I think reason why we want Gallagher, and it was like, well, we need a 6. He's box to box. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't even want Gallagher because I don't think he's technically better than Bissouma, in my opinion.
Well, he's a worker.
I understand that everyone's like, no, you're looking at him in the wrong position. I'm not really. He's an 8. Like Bissouma's an 8 as well. Sarr's an 8. You know what I'm saying? With defensive attributes. That's what Postecoglou likes. He likes 8s, you know what I mean? That all rotate and interchange in position. And that's how we look forward. And I think that's the reason why he went for Bentancur, Sarr, and Bissouma. But obviously, they don't have as much creativity as maybe like a Maddison and the Celso. And that's where we critique them on it. Like, don't play 3 players with a similar position. But that's just my opinion. I don't know.
It was weird. And I just feel that's the self-sabotage. But yeah, look, Bissouma for me, I think a 5. Like you said, he was involved in the first goal. He did a couple of jinks. I don't know why I'm judging him, and maybe it's just I judge him because I feel like even though he's not quite a 6, we do expect him to be imperious. When you look at his physicality, you do think he should be busting that place a lot more. He should be getting in, riding the challenge. You know, the challenges. I don't know because I sometimes I see him and I think, why can't he be like a party? Why he's got the physicality? He's got the
that's why.
Why can't he do that job? Why can't he?
Defensively, like positionally as well. But I put it down to the system as well, because positionally, I feel like sometimes I'm like, bro, you need to be closer to this person here to stop the shot. You know what I'm saying? Or closer to the man to put him off. And he's a part of it. It's not just him. I think as a team, because you defend as a team, I think there's other players that could be closer to their man to stop crosses from coming in, to stop shots from coming in, to put people off their headers. Because 2 of those goals, no, was it 3 of the goals? 3 of the goals are headers, isn't it?
Well,
Gakpo,
two,
Salah, 2. Gakpo and Salah, isn't it? Yeah. The other one was like a tap in, and the other one was a worldie. So yeah, man, I just felt like he can be a lot better defensively, and he needs positionally. I think he needs to work on his positional awareness, where to be. Like, I don't think he's got that part of his game, and I think we were forgiven that because he was so good at carrying the ball on a half turn, playing out the press, dribbling, taking his man on. When he's not doing that, and then he's not doing defensive work on top of it, then it's unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, definitely, if you're going to beat him over a stick, I think it will be his defensive attributes. Because even what was pissing me off was he did try to be aggressive at one point in the first half. It's all coming back to me now, but he was late in his challenges, and I'm like, bro, time your runs better. You're giving away needless free kicks. You're coming in late. And I can tell you're getting frustrated because we haven't got the ball and you're trying to win it back and be super aggressive. But because he's late in those challenges, we're looking clumsy and like we're giving away silly fouls. So I just feel like he needs to work on his tackling at times and winning the ball, being a bit more patient and then jumping in, maybe then nicking the ball off, etc., etc. Yes, man. Smash likes, man. Smash likes, people, if you're enjoying the content.
So, Ash, this is great debating. So we're giving a Basuma a 5. I'm just conscious of time as well. 10 minutes. We've got to get through the other players. But I felt like we needed to get through the meat of that anyway. The other ones, I think we kind of know. But if we just try and limit it to about a minute a player, quick reviews. Bentancur, what are you saying? Out of 10. Everyone in the chat join us. I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing him.
Underwhelmed again. Underwhelmed. I didn't manage. As much as I was brushing Basuma, I wish I could like talk about points where I'm like, Bentancur, do this, do that. I need to watch the game back for Bentancur because I just really can't remember his involvement. And I was trying to watch the game.
He was playing the 10. He started off in the 10, innit? He was
that's what I was trying to figure out. When I was watching the game, I was like, because I remember like how I work out who the 10 is because I when we're in a 4-4-2 in defensive shape, whoever's pressing the front with Son, that's the person that I look at. Oh, you're the 10 because that's what Maddison does sometimes. He helps to press with and I saw it's Bentancur, he's pressing, but then I didn't know where he was all over the pitch, but then he was not really.
He was at sea. You know that Life of Pi when they're on the life raft with the tiger? He was just there, Life of Pi. Boy, they just bare water at me. Because he just looked complete. You know, logically, it made sense in my head. You know, we were chatting about it. He can play the 10 role. Yeah. But he struggled, man. And I guess maybe against the Liverpool, you shouldn't be experimenting like that. You should go with what people are comfortable with. It's the lesser teams that you should start to experiment to see if Bentancur can play that role. So I think he also made a mistake. Don't be experimenting against the big boys, against the Musketeers. These are not the teams to be testing and learning. No, you should already have a set plan for these teams. And then if you want to go and play Burnley or Sheffield United and who have already relegated and you want to try something new, that's when you try something new. But Bentancur, from what we know of him, I'm going to give him a 4 because I saw him at the beginning and he ran straight. Yeah, and that was it. I can't remember anything else from Bentancur. So 3 or 4 out of 10. What about Pape Sarr though? Real quick, Pape Sarr.
Pape Sarr was about the pitch. I don't really remember too much about him either. If I'm being honest, I'm scratching my head. I'm like busy-bodied. But again, we kept losing the ball in that midfield. No creativity. Couldn't hold on to it. There was one moment I remember where he did kind of step up and he kind of ran with the ball and then he ended up like falling over it. Like it was a Liverpool player got on top of him, kind of like paused, like he looked like a table. I was like, hey, yo. But then, that was one thing I do remember because I was like, he's strong. He held on to it, could have easily have lost it in that midfield. But I just can't remember too much what he, like even like if he did like a long ball, a switch of play or cross, or if he carried the ball, if he dribbled past a man, I could say, I remember him. Even defensively, I'm like, I can't remember how many duels he won. Like he won the ball back for us, and then we turned the ball over. I'm struggling. And he was one of the first players to get taken off. No,
it was. Yeah. I mean, Neil says that he tried, but he got a booking that cost him. I can't even remember who he got the booking against. But
he did.
But Sarr, by his standards,
in like Basuma, they started complaining like, blah, blah, they thought things were going against them, and then they picked up silly yellow cards. In it, a ref was booking them for dissent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think he was late in a challenge or something like that.
I actually think for me, I mean, Neil says Sarr 6. I don't really remember what he done too tough. I guess maybe the booking would have handed, held him down a bit. I'd probably give him a 5.
I'll give him a 5 as well, bro. Because the same energy people giving Basuma, they should be giving Sarr right now. Because at least with Sarr, at least with Basuma, I can say key pass, long ball over top, switch of play. I can't say the same with Sarr. I can't. Jinking run from Basuma. I can't say. Like defensively, if he was mopping up, I'd be like, I rate it. But I can't say like he defended well either. He was a part of the problem.
Yeah. Well, Cash says 3. He's not having none of it. And in our hype says Cyber get pass marks for the season. Yeah, they just about get pass marks, but let's be real. In the Liverpool game, they were way below their standards. Quickly, let's deal with Brennan Johnson. I never want to see this brother on the left, bro. I never want to see this brother on the left. He was absolute. In the first half, he did absolutely nothing. I don't think he made one ball into the box. He was lost. He didn't beat a man. For me, Brennan Johnson, with his profile, why we brought him in is to be a danger, to be a threat, beat a man 1v1. Brennan Johnson, for me, I don't even want to see him at my club. Sometimes you just got to put your hand up and say we made a mistake. 50 million for that is a joke. You might as well bring me in to do what Brennan Johnson is doing, which is absolutely nothing. I think he was even, him and Emerson Royal were the worst 2 performing players on the pitch for me. I think Brennan Johnson gets a 3 out of 10. And he gets a 3 because he was brave. He was brave in the second half when Gomez tried to do his little Chung Lee high kick in his headpiece where we should have got a penalty. But that's another story. Apart from that, and also, no, dare I say, he was involved in the first goal. He did get the assist for Richarlison. So maybe he gets a 4. Because he did. But also, I think, again, tactically, we talked about it before the game. He's better on the right than he's on the left. Why put him on the left? Right, at least he was able to get that ball into the box. So I'm going to give, I think because he got the assist as well, maybe a 4.
We're forcing it, bro. We're forcing it.
Do you reckon?
Like, you could have put a cone there and asked Johnson to beat it, and he would have struggled. Yeah. Decision making. I'm not saying that Johnson can't get better. I'm just looking at this game in particular. Yeah. Maybe if there's a few other games as well, I could dig him out for. And I don't like to dig out players, but you need your wingers to do winger type of stuff. You know
Come on, like Raw Fox, black down the right.
Raw Fox,
Come on.
Listen, I know, look, for me, if you're playing on the left, right, and you're right-footed, come inside, pause, and bust it, pause, from outside the box. Shoot, bang. You know what I'm saying? Be a shooter. He's not a shooter, bro. Why is he not shooting, bro? He's not a shooter. Like, if you're in that final third, and he just couldn't, even when he got on his right and he was slightly better, but I don't know, man. I don't have the excuses for him. I just don't have it. Can we move on?
Let's move on. Yeah. I mean, Brennan Johnson, he's let us down, bro. I'm not going to lie. I was gassed when we got him. I don't know why I was gassed. Because the thing I find weird is, okay, I get it that they make these steps up, but is it that different? Because he was a different player at Nottingham Forest.
He played, remember, he played up front. He didn't play on the wing like that. He did play on the wing sometimes, but more time he was playing up top, and MGW was playing behind the minute, and them two would link up mad. Yeah. Their link up was crazy. Yeah. But he was like playing up front. Even at one point at Chelsea, I see him go up front, and he got I think it was the header. I think it was. But
did you not see him up front yesterday? Did you see him up front yesterday as well?
So yesterday,
the time he was up top.
He went up. Yeah, he did go up from yesterday as well. Yeah. But yeah, I just, even up front for us, that doesn't look good, man. He doesn't look good. I mean, and there's no excuse. Like you said, he's played at Prem level, so you expect him to be ready. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm just going to say,
at least test the keeper. At least get some shots off. He just can't.
I just want to see. I don't know if it's the teaching, because I know Pep is always insistent where man can beat a man and shoot. Pep's like, nah, I want you to make that extra pass. And I don't know, is that what Postecoglou is asking these guys to do? Rather than just beat your man, just get in it, bang, and you just wanting that extra pass? Because I just don't understand the decisions that these guys are making.
Bro. This one ain't Postecoglou. This one ain't. No. This one's on the wingers. You know what I'm saying? The wingers, like, they're meant to be creative. You know what I mean? Like, like when it comes to creativity, you don't really get involved. You know what I'm saying? Because how can you coach creativity? It's an oxymoron,
It's true.
Like, it's true. It's like two dicks. They don't mix. Well, sorry. Some people might have a different opinion, but hey, let's not get political. Yeah, but for me, I don't know. I just think, yeah, you leave creative players in the final third to do. That's what makes it unpredictable. That's what makes it hard for defenders to defend because they give different patterns. You know what I'm saying? So then you're like, oh, he wants to go on the outside. Maybe I'll show him on his right. Oh, he wants to go on his left. Let me show him his left. But if you're a good winger and you can do both, then like, you know what I'm saying? That's when you leave the player to be a player. You know, leave him to be a dream. But yeah.
But look, Liam says if Johnson looked like Skip, nobody would want him. Yowzers. Cash says Brennan Johnson when Morgan Gibbs White is right there. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't, Morgan Gibbs White, is a baller. I don't know why we went for Brennan Johnson. But anyway, I agree with whoever said it in the chat. Cash says Ange is the one who signed him. So maybe he sees something that we don't. Quickly then.
Future down the line, who knows?
Cooley and then Son. Cooley and then Skip, actually. Cooley.
If Brennan was bad, I don't know what Cooley was because I did not see.
Cooley for me, this is the reason why he weren't getting minutes at Juventus, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, wow, with Juventus, I know Juventus is a big team and they've got bare ballers, but when Bentancur and Cooley came to Spurs, these are dummies. Kulusevski is... I can't believe I had him up there at one stage, potentially rivaling Saka. This guy is dusty, bro. I don't know what's happened to him. He's just devoid of any confidence, any form. He was a waste man in that pitch, a waste of time, and it made it easy. People like him made it easy for Liverpool. There's no pressure coming from the top. Do you get me? Cooley for me, boy, he's a free man. Free. He was poor, man. I can't remember anything about that. Nothing. I'm
not mad at it. I just think decision making in the final third, he just doesn't make that decision in his head quick enough. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you're in the final thirds, you need to make assertive decisions fast, whether they're right or wrong, so you can stop the opposition from getting into defensive shape. That's the whole point of being on a transition. Yeah. And even when we're in the final third and they've got players behind and they're set, he needs to make that decision. I'm going to go to the byline and do a cutback. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's predictable. Because sometimes he gets to the byline and you can't stop him because his physicality, he's just got that ability where he shields it and you can't do nothing about it and then he cuts it back. I would prefer him to just do that every time. Or go on your left, cut inside on your left and actually shoot. Or cut inside and do a diagonal pass or reverse pass. But it's like he's forgotten how to do that. And like he's like you said, the confidence thing, he's just void of it at the moment. And so that's affecting him a lot. He wants to be a midfielder. He's told everyone wants to be a midfielder. Yet Postecoglou plays him out on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's edictless.
Again, another one for Ange. Bro, you got to hold that point.
I agree with the Diddler and Neil. I think it's a 4 out of 10. I think he's there. He's just a body, but yeah, he's dusty, man. And I think I agree with whoever said it. But I do feel maybe Juventus did do us dirty. Sometimes you don't see it straight away. It's like a vehicle, isn't it? You buy a car and you think, oh, it's all nice. And then you drive it for a couple of weeks, and then you realize that the big mashup, there's no oil in there, there's no bloody coolant, the brakes are gone. Do you know what I mean? You don't notice it when you're picking it.
Worse, man.
I always find it an oxymoron when you're going to get a new whip or whatever, and they tell you to look around the car. Well, that ain't gonna show up now, is it?
Listen, back in the day, man, them used to get bumped. We used to buy whips, and then man would find out it's a reball, meaning like it's a fake. You get me, man? We're driving a fake vehicle. It's not even a real thing. You get me? Because it looks all shiny on the outside. You're like, this looks all right. Handles well as well. Like, man's driving, and then, you go to sell it on, and people are like, the police are getting involved. What's going on? What? Yeah, man's not about a dodgy car. Because like you said, the first 6 months, man was cooking. You know what I mean? Then we said, it's an injury. Then we were like, it's because the World Cup season. Then we were like, we put him in an attacking system, he's going to look different. Then now he's in the attacking system, and now we're like, no, he's a midfielder. Then we put him in midfield. Then it's like, maybe you put it back on the right. Then you put it back on the right. Then we're like in the same, like, bro, we've run out of excuses. You know what I'm saying? Next season, I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear this player can't play in this position. I don't want to hear injuries.com. I don't want to hear the kids FC. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I agree. To me, Kulusevski should be. I want to see us sell players, even if we lose money. If we're serious, I say sell Kulusevski to Peterborough. That's his level. He's not ready for the Prem. Peterborough, yeah, them sort of levels there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Brennan Johnson, he can go to bloody Notts County. You know, like that. Yeah, I'm done. I'm so pissed off. If we just get a mill for all of these players, I don't care. Bro, real quick, Son, he scored, by the way. I do think he was out of position. I'm going to give Son a 4, but I'm going to say something really controversial. I think that might be it for him, you know.
Woo! You think Son's done? Son's done in these streets?
I think he's done, bro. He's 32. You know what? Even if he's not done, we need to prepare for life without Son, man. We cannot be dealing with this. You know, people call him purple patch, and it's the truth. Let's be real. For me, he's world class, but he has a hot run. And when the hot run runs out, he's like, you know them vehicles when you watch Fast and the Furious, the little gas tank. And then you push the button and the car goes, and it goes real fast. And then the gas runs out. Once the gas is run out, he cannot replenish. And I'm getting pissed off. I'm done with it. Son is a 4 out of 10, and he's been... He doesn't... You can't refill it. The only way he gets his real feel is after the season. Some might say maybe he's tired, maybe he's been overused. You know, he had the Asia Cup. It's not easy, but we need to start preparing for life without Son, man. He was a 4 out of 10. He was poor. And literally now, all he's good for is to tap the ball in. He's not beating a man on. He's not beating a man. Oh, you know what? To be fair, towards that last 20 minutes, okay, yes, he started to take on the right back and he started to do something, but he's not showing enough, bro. It's not enough. He's not leading from the front. Do you get me? He's not vexed. Even in his press conference, he wasn't fuming, bro. Yeah, it's a working process. It's only the man. No, I'd be pissed. Do you get what I'm saying? Come on.
You know what? Game with two halves for me for Son. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like when he moved out on the left, he looked a lot more involved. In the first half, he was not there. You know, you couldn't really see him. And it's funny because when Richie did come on, it's like all of a sudden everyone could see that, oh, there's a 9. Look, we can see the forward player. And they played into him directly. And I thought, why couldn't you have just done that for Son? Because Son, he's a player that runs in behind. But like for some reason, they weren't doing those balls over the top for him, or they weren't playing it into the channels. When I thought that's Son's game. He's like a striker that runs in late, or he curves his runs. But I thought when he was out wide, I thought that's when his performance level went up, if I'm being honest. At first, when he was on the left,
insist on playing him as a number 9. Then I don't get it because he's not got.
Because we got Richie. That's why we got Richie, and obviously the manager wasn't really rating Richie like that. That's what it is. That's what I could put it down to. Because Richie's there, he just said, "Rah, I don't rate Richie. I'm putting Son up there. I'd rather have Sonny up top than have Rich up top." That's what he said. Then he realized Son is not involved in this game. Let me put Richie up top, and then it was working. Let's not get it twisted. Richie started against Chelsea, and he was poor. We didn't see him. We couldn't find him. You know what I'm saying? He was Madeline missing. You know what I'm saying? But when we put Sonny up top again, we couldn't find him, missing person. Put him out onto the left, all of a sudden, he looks a lot better. I felt at first he wasn't really beating this man. I was like, Sonny, looking awful.
That's what I'm saying, though. But that could be standard, though. For Sonny, though, let's be real. By his standards, that's why I'm getting a little upset. I know maybe you're thinking it's a bit harsh, but by his standards, with what this guy dribbled the whole of the Burnley team and scored. You know what he's capable of. He's not showing us the levels.
Burnley,
and sometimes
that's Burnley. But I hear what you're saying. But listen, for me, he grew into the game in the second half. So at first, he wasn't really he tried to take his man, weren't working. And then he started beating his man. I think sometimes he did one touch too many. And that's when the move broke down, because there was times where he got into the box and he was taking the fullback on, beating him. And then when it came to the second man, he would lose it. And sometimes he did beat his man and it did work out, and he did get across, did pass it, and then it just kind of petered out to the next person. So I thought on the left, he had a better performance, in my opinion, than what he did up front. And you look at like the presence of Richarlison, he's holding it up a little bit better. Let's talk about Richarlison. Like, let's move on from Sonny. Like, you know, you've given him
I like Richarlison.
You gave him a 4. For Sonny, I'll give him a 5 because he scored.
Okay.
But Richie scored and assisted.
Yeah.
which he scored and assisted. And he
think
came on
should
and
do
made.
all right. A lot of people have been
on-
giving it grief. I actually kept faith with Richie. And to be fair, when you look at the whole season, when we do the whole season review at the end of the season, he done all right. I think he's done all right. He's what? How many Premier League goals he's got? About 14?
He's got 11 Premier League
Prem
goals.
goals. I think he's got more Prem goals than that.
I think he's got 11. He's got 11, and I think he's got 3 or 4 assists for Spurs at the moment.
Richarlison's got 11 Prem goals is not too bad.
For 19 games, I think it is. Is it 19 games he's got in? So that's almost like a goal every other game.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. I'm not.
It's better than
And for me,
better than Llorente.
yeah, for me, someone that's been in and out the team, I just think there was a chance I felt he had, like the ball's gone over the top. He's taken it down. I'm like, oh my days, his first touch.
His first touch is crazy. He should have banged that. He should have volleyed that, man. If that's Kane, he volleys that.
Dele Alli would have done that, but he's not Dele Alli. This is what I'm talking about, the levels. This is why Rich gets so much smoke and so much corn, because in those positions in the final third, it's very few and far between. And at this level, you need to be clinical. And because he's not clinical and he's not Kane, he's coming off the Kane. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he's coming off the back of a poor season. Don't forget that season that he had when we bought him, he didn't turn up, bro. He got like 2 goals or 3 goals in the whole season. One of them was against Liverpool, to be fair. So he doesn't mind scoring against them. Obviously, the Merseyside thing, has got beef from history previous on that. But for me, I'm looking at him and I'm like, when that ball goes over the top, and it wasn't just one, it was more than one. I'm like, Richie, can you? And he just didn't do it. Like, when it's on the plate for him, he can score. But the harder chances, I feel like, other than that Everton game, I remember the Everton game, he spun it. Like, he was confident. He banged the top end. But because he knows Goodison Park, he kind of stepped up. But you need him to step up against Chelsea. You need him to step up against an Arsenal. You need him to step up against Liverpool and score like bigger goals, more important goals. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm so harsh on him. Do you know what I mean? If we're going to be this team that Ange is twerking about, saying, rah, we're going to be challenging, can Richie be that guy? Do you know what I'm saying? Because look at Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez had a big boy chance and fluffed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How much goals did Darwin Núñez get? Look, I'll just quickly check for you. Darwin Núñez, let's bring it up.
But he's bagged more goals. Well, I guess he's in a better team at Liverpool.
Yeah, but regardless, it's a good comparison to make, no?
Yeah,
he scored, was he, number 9?
Yeah. Núñez has scored.
Let's quickly check. Oh, shit.
I can't actually see it.
I'll find it.
Núñez has scored 11 as well.
Yeah, there you go.
He scored 11.
There you go. So the same paintbrush we look at, like, if Núñez was at Spurs and he was doing what, you know what I mean? Liverpool already, he's deleted all the pictures off his Instagram, hasn't he? So obviously he was a Klopp signing and Liverpool didn't really want him. You know what I mean? And it looks like the writing's on the wall for him, because they're having many opportunities and they're like, look, they're being harsh with their team.
Would you have Núñez at Spurs?
No, that's the same thing. What are we doing there? Why would you replace Richarlison with a Núñez? This is my point exactly. You need someone that's clinical. We need a striker. We need a proper number 9 that he gets a half chance, not even a full chance, a half chance and puts it away. Because for me, if you're up top and you get those type of chances, you take your first touch, your second touch, you need to be shielding it away from that defender. You need to be using your body, using your strength to get on that side, and then he has to foul you. The only way he gets like a tackle or foot in is by going through you, and then you fall on the floor. Then it's down to the referee to blow his whistle or not. Do you know what I'm saying? But more time you use your strength and then you get your shot off, and then, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of striker we need. And it's like, if that happened once with Richarlison, I said, no, all right, fair enough. But it happened twice in that game alone. And I don't want it just to be tap in, header. You know,
so maybe we need to be going and getting Mateta. I think we should just be taking Crystal Palace's front 3, but that's another show. That's another debate. You get me? Quickly, last 2. Madders, were you happy with the little cameo that Madders gave us, and Skip? Because Skip gets a rough ride from the Spurs fate.
Not in this game.
But for Skip, I think he stemmed the tide. Him going left back enabled us to go forward and threaten Liverpool in the last 20 minutes. So for me, I would love to give Skip a 7 out of 10. Big up to him. You know, what a servant.
He made a difference.
He made a difference.
I still can't give him the 7 because my narrative is I want him at the club.
No, but you said
Isolate in this game. I'll be fair. Isolate in this game, not looking at everything else. He came on. I thought he was one of our better players. Came on, but it's always the players that come on that made the difference. Saying that, I felt he was actually better than maybe Maddison because Maddison came on as well. I felt he had a better performance than him because I just felt when he needs to give a simple pass into the front line, he did it. He didn't try to do anything fancy, and then defensively, he did it. You know, he got back, he recovered, he put the players off, he stopped them from shooting, etc. Got tackles in, physicality, energy, positional. He was like, he did everything that you want your football to do. You know, there's a smart. You know, like it's about heart as well, smart and having heart, and he had both. And I give him that.
I think he did enough to start the next game at left back. Since this brother only played Draguzin for whatever reason, then you might as well let Skip start because literally. Him coming on changed the game. Had you just left Royal on, these men would have gone with 9 goals or something. But Madders, go on.
Oh, no. But this is it. This is the way I give Ange a bit of critique again because I did a show one time and I said, look, and every fan was calling for it. Go for a back 3, right? And play 2 midfielders holding. So you play a 3-2 and then a 4 and a 1. And that suits Spurs down to a T because you've got enough players that suit that type of role. You've got combative midfielders protecting the back 3. You got 3 to kind of cover the pitch coverage to stop the channels from being exposed. And then the 4 in the middle, you've got 2 proper wingers and then 2 8s and a striker. Wow, you've got that.
Do you want to hear the maddest thing? The maddest thing I was thinking this morning when I was getting up, because I was sleeping on this. This team is actually best suited for Conte ball.
Yeah.
Okay, Porro, back 3. I mean, it's just we've got to give Conte what he wanted, but he's not bloody here.
If we did a mid block to low block on that team on Liverpool, I know actually, because we conceded so many chances anyway. In the first half, 15 chances to 1. I mean, it's 15 chances to 1. So what was the point of playing on the front foot, high up, attacking football? I understand the longevity of it, and so that's the reason why. I see other people's point where, they have to understand the philosophy and he's sending a message to the board that, look, boom, I need better players in these positions. And that's why we're going to take thumpings, you know what I'm saying? But I still think if we had your doggy in there, we're still getting that result's not changing. We're still going to concede the same amount of shots because we're open. We're open.
Madders, I ain't got much to say about Madders, mate. He's been giving us 4s out of 10s. It was another 4 out of 10 performance. For me, again, I was looking at body language. A lot of misplaced passes from Madders, not too bothered. He wasn't even angry with himself. Beginning of the season, he would have been riling up the crowds. He'd been riling up the players. He's losing the ball. Easy ball into Richarlison. It's gone to the defender. And you're just thinking, and he's just not even bothered about it. I don't know what's going on. But it was another poor performance from Madders. And I would have to say he's part of the reason for this demise because when we were sourcing, it was because he was sourcing. He was the glue. And now that he's not playing well, we are seeing the knock-on impact of it on the squad. I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion? But are we being too harsh? The fan base? I'm not comparing him to Odegaard anymore. But bloody hell, man. We need him to get back to where he was.
Yeah, no, not at all, man. You know what it is with Madders? Again, it's like decision making, when to shoot, when not to shoot. And then the shot he had on target, because he did have one shot on target, was straight at the keeper. No backlift, no power, just soft. You know what I'm saying? Like a baby's bum. So he needs to. There's so much that's wrong with Madders at the moment. He needs to get back to what he was doing before when he was carrying the ball, dribbling, taking players on. He's not doing that anymore. He's not even taking players on at all. You can't even say Madders will beat his man. He's just trying to get into the pockets of space, and then his quality of passing at times letting him down because he's not thinking the 2 steps ahead. And he's actually got the ability to pass. He's actually got the ability to find players, but upstairs, for whatever reason, like you said, confidence is really low. I think him being dropped doesn't work for him. Like he's 100% needs to be the main man.
Yeah, you
like,
got to drop though if you're not playing well. That's
no. I agree with him being dropped, but I'm saying for him, it's not working. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because in his head, he's Big Billy Bollocks, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's Mr. MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like at the moment when he's not MVP, he's down tools in. Like he's not getting to the level where we know he can be at. And for some people, when you're on the bench, you know, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna come and show my worth. And he's coming off the bench and he's still stinking it up. So yeah, Matters for me. It's got a lot of work to do, and it's quite worrying, to be fair. But at the same time, it just shows us where we're weak at.
Yeah,
you know,
wow.
It shows us where we're weak at, where we need to prioritize in the window. And clearly, Matters needs competition, because if he's not playing well, we need to bring a player in, and he's got to hold that bench, bro. Right, and rightly so.
Well, that's simple. If you're not playing well, you need to hold that bench. I agree. And look, and we're going to see into it. Big up to everyone in the chat. Everyone's still locked in. Has been there for an hour and 20. We are wrapping up now. Big up to everyone. I'm seeing the comments. You know, Cash and Kev G and Neil and it's Bin Guy and the Diddler. Big up to all these people. Just comments as well, just coming through. Marco as well in the building. Everyone just showing love. Hayden and the comments. We do see it. El Cockrell as well. Malia. You know, all you, we are seeing it. You've made some really valid points, and I think we'll have to bring up those points later in the day or in another discussion. Final thing then, overall, I would give the performance a 4 out of 10. For me,
Postecoglou though? What about, did he not get a rating? Postecoglou?
Should we give him a rating?
Yeah, what do you think of Postecoglou is a rating?
I think Postecoglou gets a... And this is good. It's good you asked this question because I think it kind of links in with the overall rating that I'm giving the team.
That's why I said it.
I think Postecoglou gets a 4 out of 10. Yeah, and I was going to give Tottenham a 4 out of 10. And the reason why he gets a 4 is because of that mini comeback where we got 2 goals and maybe we could have had a pen to make it 4-3. But my issue with Postecoglou is it me or does it feels like he's deliberately setting up the team wrong? I'm not getting any of the lineups that he's done. The last 3 games, since the Arsenal game, even the Newcastle game, I'm like, but why are you doing this? But why? But what? But why? But why? But why? It doesn't make any sense. He sets out the team wrong, but then somehow makes some changes at half time and we play better. The other reason why I think it's 4 out of 10 is because we have been poor pretty much all season in the first half. And it feels like within the first half, he kind of waits to see how the opposition's set up. And then works out a plan for us to then be effective. Which on one hand is commendable and we should applaud that because it means he is watching the game.
A bit of adaptation. So a little bit of adaptation, to be fair. Yeah.
But at the same time, if that is the case, if that's what you're doing, then you really need to be stronger defensively then. You can't play a high line if you're trying to suss out the team. What you should be doing is maybe playing deeper, work out the system, and then push forward in the second half when you know we get more love, if that makes sense. So something about the way he picks the squad, I'm not really feeling the kind of high line, but he does make these adaptations where we got 2 goals against Arsenal. We got 2 goals against Liverpool and could have got an extra 1. And yeah, so he gets a 4 out of 10. It's
just on that, do you think he looks at the other opposition? Because he always says he focuses on the team. He doesn't look at the opposition. Do you think that's the reason why he gets the lineups wrong sometimes when he starts?
No, I think where he gets it wrong is he kind of just puts something out there and he's not looking at the opposition. Because if he looked at the opposition, you know you can't leave Emerson Royal with Salah. You know you can't leave Ben Davis alone with Finn. Where he gets it wrong, though, is I would be employing a tactic where I'm saying to the players, try not to concede. Or, if anything, at the very worst, 1-0. I was saying on my watch-along yesterday.
That's against his philosophy, though. That's against
he's on the front. There's no point being 4-0 down. Because even if you have a good run like we had second half in the last 20 minutes, we were never going to come back and draw that game, bro. Never. But if it's 1-0 at half time, maybe we can come back and win the game.
But is that down to the defending of, like, supposing we had a competent left back you know. In
Yeah,
the
but
team.
even if you have a
We-
competent left back, I just think we shouldn't be pushing so high if he's sussing out the team, because the reason why I know he's sussing it out is somehow he does the right changes and we seem to be on the front foot. Do you know what I mean? People keep saying, oh, yeah, Liverpool backed off because they were 4-0 up. Arsenal backed off because they were 3-0 up. No, both Arsenal and Liverpool, they're killers. Look at Arsenal against Chelsea. Look at Arsenal against West Ham. You know, given half a chance, these guys will kill you. So we were able to push back because of certain changes that he's made. But what I'm saying is, with all the videos that you're studying, with all the analysis that you've got with all your coaching staff, why didn't you suss this out before the game, not during the bloody game?
I mean, for me, I was quickly coming. I give it a similar scoreline. I could even possibly go for a 3. And the reason why I could go for a 3, because when you deep it, Postecoglou, what he's got wrong, in my opinion, is Liverpool or Klopp, because they were cruising until they took Endo off. I think when they took Endo off and they put the youngster as a defensive midfielder, obviously he's inexperienced. I think that's when the game changed. Some people are saying, oh, because the fullback, when they took they put Gomez on, that's when we were able to get in behind and exploit down that right-hand side, because Johnson was able to be a bit more freer. Yeah. So was it that Klopp kind of disrespected us and allowed us back in the game, and then that's how we got back in it? So you could even caveat that. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't even fully give it to Postecoglou's changes. So against the bigger teams, you look at the first 60 minutes, that's the true Spurs. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're getting found out tactically because we are looking really open. And the reason why I say that is because I look at how Liverpool under Klopp last season looked, and when they didn't have their midfielders, teams were playing right through them. It's only when they made the inversion of Trent Alexander-Arnold that saved their season, and they managed to finish 5th, where we are finishing, right? But without that tweak or that adaptation from Klopp, teams, I remember watching teams just running through Liverpool. I think, why are they so open? They still look so open. But remember, they lost Mane. Mane was pressing from the front, ultra aggressive, and he was winning the ball high up for them. They lost that, and then they were exposed. The gegenpress no longer worked. Teams were like, well, it's going to clear over it. We're just going to play over it. We're going to play into the channels. We're going to play through the middle. And that's what's happening to us at the moment. And despite the heavy beatings, he's not changing, bro. So what's going to happen is the next excuse is now, when we get our players in, when Ange is backed, we'll be all right. Ange will get backed. He'll get players, but the system will still be exposed. I'm telling you.
I agree.
I'm telling you, it's too.
But he will have to adapt, or he has to pull on his sword.
It's too open, bro. It's too open. At least go to like I said, the rest defense, go into a back 3 rather than 2 at the back, and invert one of those inversions. Let one go up and once, like it's not hard.
Let me make you laugh for the last 2 minutes. So big up to everyone that's still locked in. Last point.
Go on.
Conte or Postecoglou football, because I feel like we've had 2 extremes. Either really dusty in terms of going, and then or really attacking. We just need a bloody balance. We need Poch.
Balance. Give us a bit of hope.
Would you take Poch back based on what you're seeing with Chelsea?
Well, Poch is known to do this. Poch with us started slow. That's the wickedest thing. Poch started slow with us, and then he progressively got better. And now the last 11 games, Chelsea ain't seeing no defeats really. Against Man City in the cup, they were the better team. You know what I mean? Unlucky to lose that. I felt they just lacked that talisman up top, like we're lacking, like Liverpool are lacking. You know what I'm saying? They need a number 9. If Chelsea get a number 9, different results altogether. Trust me, they're winning. Those games they're drawing, they're winning. Those games they're losing, they're not losing. You know what I'm saying? Because the amount of chances they missed. If you look at chances created in terms of Chelsea, you look at their wingers are better than our wingers, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're really deep it, I know Middlebrook is not good, but Sterling, our old boy Noni Madueke, you know what I'm saying? Their man there, at least they can beat their man, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's a different show. I'm just saying I'm just saying, Postecoglou, for me, the reason why I understand why he went for 3 robust midfielders with energy and tough tacklers, but when those tough tacklers aren't tough tackling, then your whole system falls apart because he wanted protection. He thought those 3 midfielders were going to win it in the midfield or win it high up, and we're going to turn that ball over. Those 3 players never did that, and that's why the system stunk up. So I'm going to take my Basuma 5 back to a 4, and I'm going to take my Sarr into a 4 as well, and then Bentancur 3. I'm dropping it down. I'm sorry, just for that reason. I've actually deeped it now, and I said, look, he's completely got it wrong, and he can hold a 3 as well, man, because it was just poor.
Yeah,
and we found our level with the top teams.
Yeah. No, you're right. Now, big up to everyone. That's our player ratings against the Liverpool match. We've gone in. We wanted to keep it short, but to be honest with you, the mess at our club means that we had to really unpick it. I'm hoping to see progress. Asthmatic, what are you saying? What's coming up? Have we got a show tomorrow on Spurs King TV?
Yes, we've got a show. I'm gonna have to get my socks on because there's so much to unpack. My head's hurting thinking about it. I don't even know if I want to fully go through it, but I will. I'll get the comb out and we'll kind of get into it. So, guys, if you're interested, it's going to be an autopsy by the looks of it. The amount of bones I'm going to have to unpick. Like some people call it Fish Friday. The way I'm going to be just the scaling out of all of this this project. But yeah, man them, family them, people them, everyone. Love for the love. We've also got a show on Wednesday, Rivals. Check that out as well. That should be very interesting. A couple men are trying to call me out already. But it's all right. It's cool. It's love. It is what it is, man. We still give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But yeah, man. Big yourself up, Deji.
Big up, everyone.
And see you on the other side, man.
And we are out, everyone. See you later.
Peace.